Hi everybody, it's me, Anna. Do you know where I am right now? I'm at Spring Hill. I'm in the house area at Spring Hill. Look at it, there's so much here. We've got the baby dolls, we've got the kitchen still. Everything is just like we left it. Just waiting for kids to come back next year. Well, actually, it's gonna be sooner than that because I just heard from Kira that we have a new student at Spring Hill that's coming here today. Can you believe that? Nobody's here, but there is one new student. It's very weird. I'm really excited to meet her though, I can't wait. And actually, I think she was just having outside time right now. And I think maybe they just called the doot-to-do, and now it's time to come in. And I was just setting up her mat because it's rest time right now. So let's see, she's got a mat right here. And I guess her family sent in this cozy blanket for her to use for rest time. I'm so excited to meet this new student. What do you think her name is? Well, I was thinking in the house area when we have rest time, one of our favorite things to do is to tell Sookie stories. And maybe you don't know this, but my dog is named Sookie. And if you do rest in the house area, you probably do know about Sookie because it's kind of our tradition. Every day at rest time, I would tell a Sookie story. And sometimes they were real, sometimes they were pretend, sometimes they were real and pretend. Sometimes they had people, like all of us would be in the story. We had a lot of fun telling Sookie stories. So I was thinking, I'm gonna have her come in here, we'll get started with rest time, and I would tell her a Sookie story and see if she likes it. Let's go and meet her. I think she was just putting her stuff away in her cubby. Hey, Myrtle. Myrtle is not sleeping right now. Sometimes during rest time, Myrtle would sleep at the same time as us, right? Not today, she's awake. Okay, let's see if the new student is here yet. I hope she had a good time outside playing. Hello! I can't believe that we have this new preschooler here. She's so nice. She hasn't even picked out her name symbol yet though. She's really just gonna be such a fun preschooler to have here at Spring Hill. Is it really a kid or is it my dog Sookie? It's my dog Sookie. And I don't know if she's really gonna lay on her mat. Oh, she just might. But I'm gonna sit right next to her. Maybe she'll decide to stay here. Maybe she'll be on that cozy blanket. I don't know. And I am gonna tell a Sookie story. I'm gonna tell our favorite Sookie story that kids usually ask me to tell over and over again. Sookie may or may not decide to be here for the story, we'll see. But this is a very important story about Sookie because it happened when I first got her at my house. She had lived down south for her whole life. She was 4 years old. Do you know anybody who's 4 years old? I wonder if you're 4 years old. And when she was 4, she ended up moving all the way up to Vermont. She came in a big truck, and the day we got her, we saw her come out of the truck. She was so beautiful, she was so fuzzy, she was just wonderful. And guess what? She had never really taken lots of walks before. And she was so excited to explore Vermont because she had just lived in a city her whole life. And in Vermont, she noticed that there were all sorts of amazing creatures. And she got to know some chipmunks and some squirrels. She got to know what birds were like. But there was one day when she got to know what one animal is like, and it did not turn out very well. Do you remember which story I'm about to tell? So very early on, Sookie and I went for a walk, and I forgot the leash. So right off the bat, Sookie was running and running and running, and I couldn't find her anywhere. I realized after a little bit that I hadn't seen her for a long time, so I started calling her name. I called, Sookie, Sookie, where are you? And I didn't see her, not for a long, long time, but I kept calling, Sookie. She knows her name. Sookie, hi. She's probably wondering why I'm calling her name like that, even though we're inside and she's right next to me. It's kind of silly. Well, I called and I called and I started to get a funny feeling in my stomach. I started to get very worried, wondering what she could be up to. She was still new to my family and I just didn't know what she might be doing. Well, that question was answered really soon after because way off in the distance there was a hill, and from behind that hill I could see something going like this. It had a white tip and it was gray and it was moving really fast. This. Do you know what it was? Let me see. She might not want to show it. It was her little tail. Her tail, it was wagging so fast, going, and I knew that meant that she was probably up to something. So I called out her name and I said, Sookie, what are you doing? And I walked over to her really fast. She looked up at me, but not for very long because she was very focused on something. There was something big and black about this size with lots of spikes coming off of it. At first I thought it was just an old stump, but then as I got closer, I said, oh no, it's the biggest porcupine that I've ever seen. And one thing that I know about porcupines is that they have quills all down their backs, and it keeps them safe from animals that might want to eat them. And even though Sookie did not want to eat that porcupine, I knew that that porcupine still might poke her with its quills. So I said, Sookie, get out of there, quick, come here. But Sookie did not know what I was talking about, and she just said, but Anna, there's this wonderful little creature here, and I really want to say hello to it. Do you think she really said that, or did she kind of just tell me with her tail and her body? She just has a way of kind of looking at me and telling me without words what she's thinking. And just then she was really thinking, I just want to meet this animal. And you know what she did? First, she tried to touch it with her nose. And so she reached down with her nose. Do you remember this, Sookie? She reached down and with the tip of her nose, she touched that porcupine. And do you know what? She got something in her nose and mouth. Little tiny quills, only about this big. Sometimes porcupine quills are really big. She got little tiny quills all in her nose and all in her mouth. Isn't that right, Sookie? And after that happened, she was so surprised that she took her paw and she tapped the porcupine like she was trying to say, hey, what was that about? Well, I ran right up to her and I grabbed her collar like this and I said, Sookie, we gotta get out of here. But first, we watched the porcupine because I love porcupines. And this porcupine just moved very slowly. It was not in any rush to get away from us because it knew that it was safe because of all of its quills. It knew that we were not going to hurt it. And as it walked away, I said to Sookie, all right, let's see if we can get those quills out. So first, I went for the ones on her nose. I pulled the quills out of her nose. 1, 2, 3. And then, do you remember, Sookie? There were still 1, 2, 3 on your little lips. And I patted her head and I said, this one might hurt a little bit, but it'll be okay. And I just petted her and then pulled them out. One by one, all 3 quills on her lips came out too. That meant that there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quills on her nose and lips. I thought that we were good to go, so I said, okay, Sookie, let's keep going on our walk. Sookie just heard the word walk and thought maybe we were about to go for a walk. And you know what? We started to walk. And Sookie took 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. But on the 3rd step, she tripped a little bit. I thought, that's kind of strange. I said, let's keep going. And then she took another step. 1, 2, oh! And she tripped again. That's when I realized Sookie did not just have porcupine quills in her nose and mouth. She had them in one of her paws that she had touched the porcupine with. So I lifted up her paw to try and look. They were deep in there, and I realized that with every step, the quills were getting deeper and deeper and deeper into her paw. I realized I did not want her to step on it any more than she had to, and so I thought to myself, I'm gonna need to pick her up and carry her back out of the woods. But we've been walking for like 15 minutes. It's gonna take a long time to get out of the woods with her just carried. But I realized I didn't have any choice, so I picked her up. First, I tried to carry her over my shoulders like this, and I wobbled around, and I got really tired really fast. Then I tried to swing her around. Do you remember this, Sookie? You did not like this part. And I tried to carry her just like a little baby, but she was much bigger than a baby, and it did not work. Finally, I decided that I would carry her just in the front in a big hug like this. And so Sookie and I wobbled out of the woods exactly like that. I realized, though, that my house was too far away. So I thought to myself, I will go to my neighbor's house, which is closer, and maybe I'll call my mom from there and tell her we gotta get Sookie to the vet or something. So I wobbled for half an hour or maybe longer. We went through the woods just like that. Every once in a while we would stop and take a rest. Sookie would try to walk a few steps on her paws, but then it would hurt her and she would hold her paw up like this. Finally, we got to my neighbor's house. Phew! It was time. We could call for help. So I knocked on the door. Nobody was home. Oh man. So I went to the next house. I knocked on the door. Nobody was home. Oh, brother. But I went back to that first house. And because it was someone that I knew very well, I opened up the door. I said to Sookie, wait right here. I went inside. Boop, 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 boop. I called my mom. And I said, Mom, you gotta come here. You need to come to our neighbor's house and pick me and Sookie up, because Sookie got some porcupine quills in her paw, and I don't think that I can pull them out. We're gonna need to go to the vet. So my mom came right over. We packed Sookie up in the car. We drove all the way to the vet. The vet gave her a shot that made her feel very sleepy so that it would not hurt when they took out the pills, the quills. And then, do you know what? Boop, 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 boop. 4 quills were in her paw. Just tiny ones, but you could tell that they must have hurt really bad. And that night, we went home. Sookie slept so well. She was still feeling kind of silly from the medicine that they gave her. And then, a few days later, we saw a porcupine. Do you know what Sookie did? Do you think that she went up to it and went like this and touched it with her nose and then touched it with her paw? Sookie has not had a run-in with a porcupine again. I think that she learned that porcupines are not for saying hello to up close. They're for watching from far away. But every once in a while when we do see a porcupine, Sookie still gets very excited. She likes seeing them, but she knows that she cannot touch them. Isn't that silly, Sookie? Did that story make you kind of sleepy? You know, when friends are in the other room, when we're having rest time, we will sometimes read a story all together. And I was thinking that we could go and do that right now. How about we read a story? We just told a Sookie story. And I know that after I tell Sookie stories, for real with kids here, that sometimes they say, oh, and also, and then they'll tell a story. So if you were feeling inspired by that, to either tell a pretend or a real story, I hope that you will do that. And you could just tell it to your mom or dad or your siblings, or you could take a video of it and share it with your friends on our virtual classroom. I don't know. All right, so I'm gonna go to the great room, and hopefully Sookie will come with me and we'll read a story in there. Okay. got Sookie's mat all set up here in the great room now. I'm not sure if she's gonna lay down on it, but she might. And I picked out a book too. This one I picked out special for Sookie. Oh, she's looking out the window right now. What do you think she's looking for? Maybe a porcupine? Well, I picked this story out special for Sookie because it has a dog in it, and also it's about digging holes, which Sookie loves to do, especially in the garden, which I don't love that much. But I do like that she digs holes. I just prefer it when she does it in the woods or something instead of in the garden. Sam and Dave, though, they are digging a hole just right in the middle of their yard, and it's kind of an amazing hole. Just wait and see. Sam and Dave Dig a Hole by Mac Barnett, illustrated by John Klassen. Ooh. That's kind of interesting. Is it a wraparound cover? I don't know if I ever noticed this about this book before, but it's not exactly a wraparound cover because it does look like it's one. It looks like there's two holes, but I'm noticing on this side, it looks very similar. It's all same. But instead of on this side where it's showing Sam and Dave and their dog, it's showing that they dug all the way down. So it might be a first and then kind of picture, a before and after picture. Ooh. Yum. What kind of tree is that? Can you tell? Looks like an apple tree to me. I always like to notice some things on this page. Let's see what we can notice before we read the story. Looks like they've got a plant growing at their house. Kind of red tulip. Here's a kitty that has a collar on. What color is the collar? They have a weather vane that points in the direction of the wind. Looks like there's a little chicken on top. And there's their apple tree. Sam and Dave dig a hole. On Monday, Sam and Dave dug a hole. When should we stop digging? Asked Sam. We are on a mission, said Dave. We won't stop digging until we find something spectacular. Whoa. This kind of reminds me of Kate's choice this week. Do you remember that she was digging for worms with her son Hollis? She was looking for a certain kind of treasure, which was worms, but I wonder if Sam and Dave are looking for that same kind of treasure. The hole, oh, whoa, look at that. Can you see the dog right here? The direction that its eyes are pointing, it's looking right at that special jewel, that treasure in the ground. But do you think Sam and Dave can see it? It's kind of like we're looking at the ground cut in half. So we can see they dug this hole, but all of this is just underground and they haven't dug there yet. The hole got so deep that their heads were underground, but they still had not found anything spectacular. We need to keep digging, said Dave. Oh my gosh. They didn't notice this one, but that's so good. They're digging right towards this next jewel. So they kept digging. Whew, they took a break. Oh, they're so close. Dave drank chocolate milk out of a canteen. Sam ate animal cookies he had wrapped in their grandfather's kerchief. Maybe, said Dave. The problem is that we are digging straight down. Yes, said Sam. That could be the problem. I think we should dig in another direction, said Dave. Yes, said Sam, that is a good idea. Oh, brother. Oh no, they were so close. Even the dog was trying to dig to it. I have a new idea, said Dave. Let's split up. Really? Said Sam. Just for a little while, said Dave. It will help our chances. Oh no. Can you see the two tunnels that they dug? They just missed it. Oh, they were so close. So Dave went one way and Sam went another. But they did not find anything spectacular. Maybe we should go back to digging straight down, said Dave. Yes, said Sam. That is a good idea. Oh, brother. They were so close to the most giant treasure ever. So close. Sam and Dave ran out of chocolate milk, but they kept digging. They shared the last animal cookie, but they kept digging. Oh, they're so determined. Do you see any treasure on this page? Maybe not a Sam and Dave kind of treasure, but it looks like a dog kind of treasure. Can you see that tiny little bone? Do you think the dog knows that it's there? After a while, Sam sat down. Dave, he said, I am tired. I cannot dig anymore. I am tired too, said Dave. We should take a rest. Sam and Dave fell asleep. Looks like Sookie's fallen asleep too. She's ready for rest time. Can you see what this dog is doing though? He's definitely not snoozing. Dig, 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 dig. What? Wait a second. I didn't accidentally turn the book upside down, did I? No. It's definitely falling. There's the bone. And the dog. What? Then Sam and Dave were falling. Did they even wake up? Looks like their eyes are still closed. Their puppy is wide awake. Sam and Dave fell down, down, down. Oh good, and the dog got the bone. Until they landed in the soft dirt. Well, said Sam. Well, said Dave. That was pretty spectacular. What? Wait a second. Didn't they dig their hole right here? Okay, let's see. Yeah, they started digging a hole right there, right next to the apple tree. And here's the, wait a second, that's not an apple tree. What kind of fruit is on that tree? And they went inside for chocolate milk and animal cookies. That's so strange. Right back to their tulip. Wait a second. This was a tulip last time. Can you remember what color the cat's collar was? Was it blue? What about the weather vane? What? This is all very strange. is so weird. For Carson Ellis, for St. David's, Ontario, from Mac Barnett and John Klassen. Whoa. This is very funny. I did not remember this about this story. Okay, check it out. Here's one end page, nice and orange, and there's the Spring Hill star and our stamp. And then here's this end page. Do you see a star on this? Do you see it anywhere on that piece of paper? I wonder if Laura maybe stamped it thinking this is the front of the book, or if she did that on purpose. I don't know. That is really silly. 2 stars in that book. Thanks for reading that with me. Hey, if we were reading a book for real and it was rest time, do you know what we would say right now? We would say, okay, it's time to go to your mats and settle in and get started with rest time. Sookie doesn't have to stay on her mat, that's okay, because she's the only student that's here right now. She can just be wherever she wants in the great room. We would also turn on some really nice music that is very relaxing to listen to. I'm actually gonna go turn it on right now, and I'll be right back. Look at all of these rest time belongings that are here at Spring Hill. Do you recognize yours anywhere here? They were left behind. There's even Sawyer's horse here. Some water bottles. They're here out on the back porch for you to pick up. Right here at Spring Hill.